Greetings, family. Again, we're in Tony's barbershop. We're here to reason our beautiful sister called Udo, and she'll be talking about her book, based about her journey. And the purpose of us being here because we want to give a voice and opportunity for those who don't have the opportunity to be exposed by BBC and ITV, right? But we as a community, we have a responsibility to launch this beautiful sister to the community. Because I spoke to her last week. We had a brief chat, and I was quite convinced and overwhelmed by her potential. The fact that she wants to help the community. We don't really have time to really go into her CV because we'll be here for another half an hour. We got to be scratching the surface. All I want to do is just welcome Udo to us. Udo, how are you keeping, my sister?
Okay, hello. Yes, you're welcome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Udo, we had a chat just recently, and I was quite impressed with the conversation me and you had. I know you've got several books out, and this book here I'm going to show in front of you right now is called the Unlost Hope. And I want to talk about that. But before we even start talking about anything, just give us a little background about yourself and how the journey started from.
All right, thank you very much. It's nice meeting you. What happened is, with regards to where I come from, I originate from Africa, Nigeria. Precisely, I'm an Igbo lady, and most of my book that I write is being influenced by my culture and a bit of the influence I've had since I came here, because I've been here for a couple of years. So these are
you've only been here recently, yeah? 2 years?
No, a couple of years, many years. I've been here for about 15 years.
Oh, 15 years? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Quite a long time now.
Okay, 15 years.
Yeah. So my book I started writing right from when I was less than 7 years. But it wasn't like the published time, but I like to scribble stuff. Yeah, but eventually my very first book, which is one of those you're holding there.
That's this one here,
yeah? It's The Banana Skin. And then I published that as far back as 1993.
1993?
Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah, and then I've got another one of it, an improved version of The Banana Skin, coming up very soon. Is with the publisher at the moment. That one is titled The Banana Skin Love Magic. Yeah, it's just upgrade of that one, the one you have there. Yeah, so that's basically what it's all about. My writing, everything is to do with my culture and my stay in.
Okay then. The first book you say is The Banana Skin. I'm quite interested. Banana Skin. What's that book about? Is it something relationship or love?
Yeah, definitely. It's to do with love, between two people. Yeah, and it turned out that the two characters in there, the major characters, the lady there, her name is Omama. She apparently had fallen in love with the wrong person initially. But not until The Banana Skin, she stepped on it. That was the turning point in her life. But much later, that very person became the right man. And everything about the relationship between these two people is what I talked about in Banana Skin. Actually, I was inspired to write The Banana Skin because of some of the friends I had. My friends, sometimes they have relationship, it doesn't work out. Sometimes it works out, along the line there's a crash and they move forward. So, in relationships, there's a lot of complexity. So some of these, kind of inspired me. And I came up with the book Banana Skin, and there's a lot of cultural image being portrayed in the Banana Skin.
Okay, that's interesting. And the other book is, I showed it earlier on, is The Unlost Hope. What's that book about then? What's that one now?
Yeah, Unlost Hope is the very latest book that I published. My publishing company is from America, they're in America. So it was published, it's just a very recent book, about 5 weeks now, 5 to 6 weeks. But the book is basically, it covers a lot of stuff. But the point is that there's been a lot of issues in the society, which I observed. Issues such as unemployment, rising and falling in amongst human race, problems to do with, family problems, such as back in Africa where I come from, sometimes people might have 2 wives, some men. Polygamy is not something of this culture. So when they get to a relationship like that, sometimes they end up not doing a will or a proper will. Things like that, sometimes we have to go to the court to be addressed.
Okay.
So these are some of the things I've been able to address in the book. Lots of issues. Unemployment, problem in relationship, rent issues, rising and falling. There's so many things that, problems in the society. Quite a lot of it I've been able to use two characters by way of love to portray in my book, The Unlost Hope.
Okay, because just listen to you, and the first book's about relationship, and the second book's deal with issues like unemployment, relationships, and the whole thing about I go about doing a will and so forth. Yeah. I want to tackle the whole thing about relationships, because one of the things I observe in relationships that if you're not able to communicate with your partner or not clear exactly what you want from each other, things can, there's a barrier there, or things it starts breaking down, right? That's what I find in observing in relationship, right? And I want to get your perspective on things about relationship, because I find that with relationship today, and we talk about man and woman, that it's lack of communication and lack of understanding, the roles of we want from each other. I mean, which one I'm saying, because in Africa, unless I'm wrong saying, is that there are certain kind of roles you observe. A man is quite clear, each role is a man. A woman's quite clear what role is a woman, and here we're not too clear. But I just want to throw it to the table, because I want to get your perspective, your thing about relationship. Your thing about relationship, because I mean you've written quite a lot of stuff on relationship, so.
What happens in terms of the difficulty to do relationship, is that what you're talking about? What happens is that in Africa, including the world as a whole, the relationship has always been a key problem, because there's a lot of deceit in relationship, there's a lot of fraud in relationship, there's a lot of complication in relationship. So when it comes to problems like that, I want, through my book, for people to realize that relationship problems might come up. If it comes up, you're not able to handle, because there has to be perseverance, endurance, and stuff like that. But where it is clear that you're not able to handle certain issues and things break down, that does not mean that you cannot move forward. For instance, in Unlost Hope, the main characters there, they didn't have problems in terms of their love relationship, but there was still a problem. The problem was with regards to their status in life. They had worked very hard to get to a height in terms of achievement, and then there were lots of obstacles, and they had a problem and they went down. So when that happened, that did not make them to give up. They persevered, started to build back again, and they eventually went up. So these are some of the lessons one has to understand. But having said that, outside these two people, one of the main characters, her name is Ndidi, she was a liar. She had to go to the court sometimes because of some other vital problems in the society. Like one of her clients had a problem. The problem was because her husband was very promiscuous.
Okay, but let me just bring it back, because you hear a lot of issues, but why do you think these things happen in relationship? I mean, there must be a reason why.
Yeah, the reason, like I said, is because of the complexity in regards to human race. There's a lot of complexity. It's not like a one-way traffic. So when problems do come, because we are made differently, we're not the same people. I'll give you an example. Some people probably they have a relationship that is very honey, but beneath, one of them might not be trustworthy, and they wouldn't know. Along the line, relationship grows up, matures, but eventually they might find out one of them was being deceitful. That might mess up the relationship. But I'm trying to portray in Unlost Hope that whatever problem it is in the family, in the society, there is always a way out. When we have to be perseverant, we have to be able to, be flexible. Like the case, one of the cases in Unlost Hope that was addressed in the court was a case to do with death by intestate. You see, when somebody dies without writing a will, it's regarded as death by intestate. So in the Unlost Hope, the main character there had to go to the court to address such issues. So the magistrate on two different counts, one was death by intestate because the man had a family but never left a will when he died. So the very first son in the family with the mother wanted to handle the property. But the brother said, no, it's got to be split up. If anything happens to the mother now, the first son is going to take it over. But they didn't understand it that way. They went to the court and the court addressed it. Then the other one was because the man had 2 wives. He died, he gave it to his favorite. But the woman who actually built the property, built the wealth with him, he neglected. So when the case came to the court, the magistrate said that there was a will, but the will was made wrongly. So he put up another judgment whereby the property was split up for the 2 families. So there are lots of different problems. But with regards to unlost hope, is with regards to unlost hope, is regarding the 2 main characters. When they had a problem and they fell down the ladder in terms of their achievement, they didn't lose hope. They continued to persevere. If you want, I can read up an instance from the book for you.
But before you read into the to that, because we have to be quite clear what we're saying.
Yeah.
Because I believe that where there's a problem, there is a solution. I do believe that, right? But I think that one of the things we need to look at, that when we talk about relationships, right, we have to be clear exactly what we want and what we don't want. Because we can avoid certain things in the first place. You know, we avoid it. You know what I mean? Based on our experience and so forth. You know, so we have to. I want to throw that message out there to people. You know, because you know, we don't want to say to people get into a relationship, know there can be problems, right? First thing you need to do is look what you want from each other and deal with the issues. Because you don't want to go in a relationship knowing you're gonna have problems. I just want to throw it into the surface, you know, so forth. But if you want to read something from this, as part of your book, I think that'd be right.
Yeah, just to support the title Unlost Hope, to indicate the reason why there's need for one to have patience and endurance in any aspect of life. I'll just pick one or two, a few instances. Like the very beginning of this book, it starts this way. The day had suddenly turned deadly black, and all beings, according to their nature, felt that all hope was gone. There was a feeling that the world had come to an end. Most probably, it could be an eclipse of the moon. There was panic, frustration, dejection, confusion, despair, name it. Those were the exact feelings of Udo and Didi, the 2 main characters in this book. Darkness had suddenly gone the way it had come to usher in brightness, and you could see smiles on the faces of many, both consciously and unconsciously. The life of this couple, Udo and Didi, is quite interesting and has a lot to offer. Darkness, of course, is known to be associated with evil of all kinds. Yet, in spite of its evil, there is an advantage attached to it. Udo and Didi, having encountered their darkness, endured it and were eventually raised from there to a bright world, which will be described as a world that could easily be seen as flowing with milk and honey. An observation of their lives, one could be delighted and impressed and equally wish to be like them. They were the epitome of what married life should be like. On reflection of their past life, having read through this novel, one can imagine what they have gone through. Really, it hadn't been an easy journey, but they had arrived safely and decently. That's just a part of Unlost Hope. And towards the end, there's a part here said, really, Didi and her husband had had a great moment of triumph. They were tense at that instance, but they tried to brush things aside so as to be able to move on. The days had suddenly turned deadly black for them. Some people took delight in their predicament and felt that all hope was gone. At brief moments, there was a feeling of panic, frustration, dejection, confusion, and despair, which was natural. In a short time, they had accepted the situation and worked towards a change. Okay, this other part, he said, time was now flying, and NTVC had not made it a success. NTVC is the male character, the very male character, you know, where the focus lies on. Time was now flying, and NTVC had not made it a success, so they became more attached to their creator. She realized, based on experience, this is Ndidi, that hard work, continuity, and positive thought with carefulness was the key to success. So I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to portray in this book. All I'm trying to make people understand is because you're going to be successful in life does not mean the success will just come out one go. There are stages. The stages might be okay, the stages might be rough, but whatever stages, that does not mean you're going to lose hope. You're going to give up. You've got to continue to persevere. Somebody has got a job today and you lose your job does not mean that you cannot proceed or that you don't have a job. In this book, there was also unemployment problem, just like in the other one. And in this book, the main character was able to tell some of the friends who were unemployed that they can make something good for themselves rather than depending on the government. Because you've got something inside you, potential, it comes in different forms. It might be in terms of you being self-employed, it might be in terms of you having an art, in terms of maybe playing football, in terms of being a musician or whatever. But if you don't get a job from the government, because if you look at it, it's not very easy for the government to be able to provide jobs for all the human beings. So you have to also find a way, because there's always something inside each and every one. They're not similar.
Okay. That's quite interesting what you said there. I want to bring it back because you mentioned about polygamy. What's your perspective? How do you see polygamy? What's your view on polygamy?
Yeah, we all know that polygamy is something that is not good at all.
Why
it's something
not?
I detest. Yeah, in the past they did it in Africa, but people doing it presently, they know it's completely out of order. But there's still some people practicing it. But in the past, it was part of the culture. But now, I don't regard it as part of the culture. I didn't come from a polygamous family myself. Most of my relations are not from polygamous, but my mom came from a polygamous family. A lot of people practiced it in the past, but not anymore. But some still do it. And those who do it know it's not good. But sometimes, because of poverty, some women decide to go into it. Yeah, there's so many reasons. But if you look at it, it's not healthy. It's wrong. It's not even biblical for those of us who are Christians.
But why? Because what people are asking is that why would you say it is wrong? Because we need to be clear why you say it's wrong.
Yeah, I'm saying it's wrong for so many reasons. Like in All Lost Hope, one of the cases, the main character Ndidi took to the court. The main character, the lady, she's a lawyer. One of the cases she had to take to the court was the case of polygamy, because the man died. He had 2 wives, but when he died, he didn't consider all his children and wives. He considered the one who was regarded as his favorite. This goes to show, to start with, that it's not fair. It goes up against human, safety, human psychology. So this is how she handled it. So there's no way a man will have 2 women, and you think you'll be satisfied with 2 of them. There's always a likelihood that you go for one person more, and each time there's always a kind of competition in the home, because everyone wants to please him please him. So this is the problem. And not only that, it is wrong for a man if you have 2 women. At one instance you're with one, another instance you're with one in the same household. I feel it's not healthy.
Okay, I mean I understand. There is compass behind, but people, unless you understand polygamy, how it really works, if you really understand it. I mean, I do understand how polygamy really works. I'm not saying I do understand it. Yeah, right. But and it's very important to understand it. But I mean, from your saying that, and from a moral, you're talking from a moral aspect, though, really, and psychologically and that stuff. I can understand where you come from that angle there. I think. The question will be now. What is the future holds for you personally? What's your plan now? Because I mean, you've got several books, and you're doing quite well. And what's the future holds for you personally? What's your?
What happened is I want to make my career from my writing, and because I've got all the potentials. It's just me. I like to write, so I want to also make my career there, and I want to get famous. I want to be like J.K. Rowling. You see, I want to put myself on that level. But the thing is that when you start initially in everything, you've got to, make effort step by step until you get to where you want. And this is just the very beginning. Because my first book, The Banana Skin, which is the one there. I published it in the 90s. It was a very big hit, but this was in Africa. But the problem that made everything to crash was with regards to piracy. That doesn't happen here, but in Africa, there was a lot of piracy. My book was everywhere in the market, but the money wasn't going into my pocket.
Oh, people were pirating your book? What is right?
They were, yeah, they were.
Okay then.
They were. So they did all that. I had my female plates on me, but my book was everywhere. Some of my friends who were not living in my own area, when I met them or when they come, I said, oh, you've seen my book. Are you interested in buying it? They said, oh, we'll buy it. Some will even show me, but didn't buy it for me. See? So basically, because of that problem of piracy, it was difficult for me, and that was why after my banana skin, I didn't make any effort to publish any other, because I still had one or two others then, plus my short stories.
But in terms of, what's your favorite? Because people get to know your name and that stuff. Then, do people know about you?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, do you do any like interviews or TV interviews or radio interviews?
Yeah, I didn't do any TV interviews. But because it was the first experience, I was an amateur. This was in the 90s, but I didn't do television interview. It was probably my publishing company was supposed to have done it for me to assist me directly. Yeah. But having said that, I did launching. People bought a lot, but after that launching and the ones I was able to sell, subsequent sales was not coming to me.
Not coming to you.
Yeah.
But was your name well known though?
Yeah. Even in this London, I tell you what, I've been able to run into complete strangers, about 2-3. They said, oh, you look familiar. Like one church I went to, one woman, she said to me, oh, your face looks familiar. And I looked at her, I couldn't recognize her face. And I felt that a younger person is in a better position to recognize an older person than the other way around. But eventually it turned out that she bought my book. It wasn't from me, from back home. And then she was so thrilled. She said to me, oh, my daughter, your book. I was wondering. She was the one that I recollected. She said, do you write? I said, yeah. And she now hugged me. She said, I've read your book. She said, have you written another one? I said, not yet. This was a few years ago. Yeah, and then she said, your book, she started telling people around there. She said, she's a writer. Her book is very, very good. So I didn't even know her. I wish I could, know where to get her. Tell her my book is not out, the second one. Because she said, try and write. Your book is so fantastic. So these are the kind of, compliments I was getting back home when I wrote that book. But after that, nothing more. Because my book was everywhere. Sometimes I see it in the bookshop. But it's not for me.
No, because piracy, duplicating people's stuff is,
Yeah, in Africa, yeah.
And
even musicians.
And even here as well is a bit of a...
Really?
There's a bit of, especially DVDs and...
All right, with the music
and that stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, books, I didn't know people pirate people's books are something new to me, but I mean, people do anything now to make money, So it must be very... They must be quite popular. They must have read it and say, well, that's a good idea. I can make money off of this, and so forth, So, come back to So, are you a family person? I mean, children and.
Yeah, I've got children. I've got 2 boys. Yeah. My first one is quite big. I've got a little one, not like little boy. He's 8 years. The small one, but. Apparently, medically they say, because I regard him as a special child, but medically they say he's autistic. So, that is kind of like my unlost hope. So I'm working on him and at the same time facing my career. Yeah, because I don't want to abandon my career, and it's also going to be good for him. Yeah, I write poems and so on.
Oh, so you write poems and stuff,
I write poems, I write short stories.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got a lot of poems. My publishing company say, oh, let's finish with this. We want to have your poems publishing for you. And so on. So I just want to get into the market, get my publicity from Unlost Hope, and then the Banana Skin Love Magic, which is an upgrade of the first one. Yeah, and then subsequently my poems. So my son even writes poems. He's got loads of poems. Yeah, I think he's in the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your father and your mom, what do they do? Are they influence you or whatever?
I don't know if I should say they influenced me. Maybe a little, but the main thing now is that my parents are not even alive anymore. Yeah, but my father schooled here. He was a medical doctor.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had a very good upbringing.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom was a nurse, but she didn't practice her profession. She was into business. Yeah. But having said that, when I was into, like I said, I like to scribble a lot. Sometimes I give my mom, this was when I was a lot younger, I give her to look at, when I write stories. And then sometimes even my my father, he will also look at my stories. But they were not like into writing like me. Yeah, but I know that my grandma was a good storyteller. Yeah, my grandma, yeah. So this is the thing. Yeah.
Okay, so really from your grandmother really comes.
It could be, yeah.
Grandmother.
She used to tell a lot of stories. Well, you know, in those days, probably she didn't have opportunity, or she didn't think along that line. This is years back, not even my mom.
Okay.
But she tells a lot of stories. So sometimes people say, you like your grandma because you tell a lot of stories and I like to write. You know, so things like that. Yeah.
Okay, and what would be the final message you'd like to give to those who, tune in right now, in terms of inspiration? What would be the final message you'd like to give to?
You mean people who want to write?
No, well, yeah, that's a good question. People want to write. Yeah, that's a good one. People want to write, and people are tuning in right now, listening. I mean, what would be the inspirational message? In fact, the one to do writing would be very good. In fact, mention about people want to write.
Oh, okay. Yeah, with regards to people who want to write, all I can say is that writing is not like anything unique to any particular person. Anybody can be a writer, but it's for you to understand when you have that inspiration in you. Somebody said to me, if you're a writer, it's like a strong inspiration, something strong in you, asking you to put something down. But on the other hand, you still have to also realize whether something is in you. Because with me, my experience before writing Banana Skin, the inspiration for Banana Skin, is completely different from the inspiration for Lost Hope. It's completely different from each novel I handle. Yeah, because I've got a lot of unfinished work, but the experiences are different. So with Banana Skin, it has to do a lot with my inspiration with my friends, close friends, who tell me about problems or happiness in their relationship, even some of my own personal experience. And then I had that feeling that I need to put something down. It doesn't have to be exactly the way you saw it, but you just be directed. So when you get that message, I didn't get the message like straight on. I got the message from beginning of the first chapter to the end. No, it comes sometimes in bits, but you've got to recognize that inside voice and start to write. And then some might not even have the inspiration to write a novel. They might have for short stories. They probably don't have the idea to blow it up. Short stories are also good. They also have the idea of writing poems and songs. It depends on how it comes. But still, if you're sleeping, if your mind is sleeping, you won't know when the message is passed on. So you've got to be alert. Okay. Yeah.
And what would be the final message you'd like to give to people?
Alright, okay, yeah. My final message therefore is I've got an autistic child. I know sometimes people have autistic children, they feel all hope is lost. Some might even go and commit suicide. They do all sorts of things when they have an autistic child. Problems are of different types. So the point is that no matter the circumstance, you make the best out of it. For instance, a bad experience can be a good book. A good experience can give you a good book. Whatever it is, make the best out of it. I read about one lady, she writes, I don't remember her name, but she started her writing because of the experiences she had. Even one of her children, she said is, what do I call it? You see, when you say somebody is it out? What did she have forgotten the language, but you see what I mean? The boy is not the straight type.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she said she started writing. Some of those experiences came into her book. And then some other problems too in the family. And so she's a millionaire now. The lady, I don't know her name. Her last book she wrote it with her daughter. She's a great writer. But some of the problems, and then she blew it up positively.
The one who's I know what you're talking about. I know you're talking about. I can't remember the name of my head right now, but I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So you've got to be able to use, whether it is a negative problem or a positive problem, it can turn out to be something positive. See what I mean? It can be a book. If a problem is there, I'm not saying go for bad problem, or but when it happens, because you can't help it, when you overcome it, do a book, a very good book, and that will compensate you for those lapses. If it's a good experience, that can also be a book. You see, some people write love stories, some people write crimes, some people write all sorts of things. You have to make something out of it.
Okay, fair enough. Okay then, so in the house we had Udo, that's your name, Udo? Udo, yeah. I said Udo.
Udo, yeah.
Udo inside the house, and as you know that she's written several books, and the latest book she's got, Lost Hope, and that's the title, Unlost Hope. It's an inspirational book, and it gives you the tools to empower oneself. And as you know, we've been reading here, and this is a very powerful sister. It's got a lovely spirit. I'm a sister.
Okay, it's a pleasure.
Thanks to have you here.
All right.
Give
Thank
thanks.
you. Thank you
Give
very
thanks
much.
again for brother Tony. Give thanks.